You're based in the United States, you have U.S. clients, but you do have your bank overall a focus on China. Tell us how that is doing business with U.S. clients into China.
Yeah, so look, I would say the relationship between businesses in U.S. and China, characterize it as, I think, one of a lot of optimism. So if I just simply take our own numbers over the past year-to-year period, first half versus first half last year, we're up roughly 33% from our clients. So that's across both directions. Chinese companies coming into the U.S., U.S. companies going out to China.
Now, we hear a fair amount about restrictions on capital flows from China outside into the West. Are those affecting your clients?
So there'll be some cases where you're going to have a client who may have been interested in doing a deal in the United States, and they may have to slow that down. But I think the way we think about this is not so much in the immediate term, what's the impact, but rather is there this long-term interest. So you've got huge sectors of the economy in the United States that are very interesting and very attractive to Chinese companies. And regardless of the capital flow and capital restrictions, that interest will remain.
It was just under 2 years ago now that there was a fair amount of disruption in the Chinese markets that really discouraged a lot of people. Is that all past us now? Do your customers, do your clients, are they confident about the stability and the course going forward in China?
I think the way you have to look at it is, again, this is over an arc of time, but there's a tremendous amount of progress that's been achieved, and I anticipate that that will continue. We're likely to see further tensions. We're likely to see some surprises in the future. But I think if you look at this again as a long-term investor, the steps that the Chinese are making to open their capital markets, I think they're quite substantial and quite substantive.
When your institutional and your corporate clients come to you, what are the biggest impediments or hurdles that they see in doing business with China, whether investing in or otherwise doing business there?
So I don't know if it's so much an impediment question. I think the way I would describe it is they want to make sure that what they're doing is going to achieve their objective. And I think that's one thing we can help with. So we have clearly a lot of experience there and a lot of boots on the ground in China. So we can sort of help our clients decide this may be the right place for you, or if indeed they're thinking about something that we might think is not, then we're happy to share that with them. So I think it isn't so much about impediments as it is just understanding how to navigate.
When they look at the opportunities on the other side, what's their top list? What do they look at in China and say, that's really a great opportunity for
them? So I think what you have to remember is China is moving from being the world's factory now into becoming one that's an innovator and much more of a technology-oriented business environment. So I think what they're very interested are things like healthcare. They're very interested in biotech. They're very interested in technology itself. What they're going to try to do, obviously, is learn how it is done in the U.S. through an acquisition, perhaps, of a U.S. business, and then apply it back into their own market.
You started this by saying your business is up year over year 33%.
Yeah, our business between China and the U.S.
Right. The U.S. and China. Can that pace keep up?
Yeah, I think it can, actually. So you have a tremendous amount of growth occurring in China itself, growing at 6 to 7%. And the U.S. is growing also, albeit somewhat slower. And then if you just take a look at the amount of interest, again, that both countries have, the businesses in each country's interest in the others, I think that is growing, it's substantial, it's strong. So from our client base, we see an almost unlimited amount of growth in the next few years.